stake for these two sides, and representing Oxford this evening, Ben Calverley, the Huddersfield lad, Greenhead College pupil once upon a time, is at full-back. Then it's James Batstone, the dangerous winger who has 3 tries in the last 2 varsity matches. Tom Barker, Marcus Alexander-Neil, David Barrow, Hugh McCormick and Ross Swanson, a double blue in Union. Paddy Boyle is the captain, Josh Venner, Josh Halstead, Matt Henshaw, Greg Coates and Brett Marshall. And on the bench for the Dark Blues, Johnny Hawkins, Ollie Nash, Charlie Thompson and Paul O'Connor. And the coach is Gloucester man Dan Garbett. Now the Light Blues of Cambridge with Rob Cox at fullback. Then it's Max Stetchman, Charlie Linton, Alex Spain, Angus Sanders, Greg Cushing and Rupert Wingate-Saul. And in the forwards, James Sherman playing in his 5th varsity match, a great achievement for the Blackpool lad. George Sykes, the captain, Ben Miller, George Lang, Mark Sweeney and Charlie Sorensen. And on the bench, Paddy Goff, John Garrity, the American, a former gridiron player, Mark Comyn and Frank Sanders. And the coach, John Evans. And John Evans, in fact, in charge for the last time as full-time coach and manager of this Cambridge side. He's returning to the business world after this game. He'll still be coaching the Light Blues, but how he would like to sign off as full-time coach and manager with a victory here, as too, I'm sure, would James Sherman. There he is, the Shermanator. An outstanding game from him last year in very trying personal circumstances. This is 5th game, equaling Sam Gluck's record. Dr. Gluck, of course, played in 5 of these games. James Sherman hoping to bow out with a victory, but Oxford certainly looking to avenge last year's defeat. Tim Roby is the referee, first time on TV for the referee, who's a familiar figure in Super League games, running the line, but he's the man in the middle this evening here at the Stoop, which thankfully has dried out immeasurably, because last week there were thoughts that this game would not be able to take place, at least on this pitch. So boggy was it, but it has improved a great deal and dried out thanks to the last few days of sunshine and breeze. And now there are just 1 or 2 soft patches on the fringes of the pitch, but generally speaking up the middle it's in good shape. And as usual, a colourful crowd here tonight, ready to cheer on their sides. It's Oxford who get us underway through the boot of Ross Swanson. And look out for Swanson, a double Union blue for Oxford, and a very useful performer. But Cambridge have first touch of the ball, having won the toss. And Cambridge winners of this one by 20 points to 4 last year. In good form, so there's not a lot to choose between these two sides. There is John Evans, the Cambridge coach.
And what he said, he wants an 80-minute performance out of his Cambridge side. He wants them to be destructive in defence, professional in attack. But both sides will be wanting to touch the ball as early as possible. There's the first mistake. He took his eye off the ball.
And that's come from some terrific defence from this Oxford side. Great line speed, great contact being led by Paddy Boyle, the captain, the number 8.
Calverley serves it up to Halstead. There's the error. And now Oxford with the opportunity. Swanson across the field. Good tackle, cutting down. Well, for a moment, cutting the man down, but McCormick has it back. And he plays the ball. Venner. Once more for Josh Halstead. Halstead plays the ball. Swanson, the pass across the face, and Brett Marshall goes without it, knocks it forward.
Well, Oxford are showing the hand. They're not afraid to throw this ball around. See, they go into the collision, it just didn't have quite the right grip on that ball. But a very positive start in defence and in attack from this Oxford side.
Well, both sides have been in good form this season, and Oxford have won 7 of their last 8 games, and the only defeat was a valiant one against Leeds Mete a couple of weeks ago, and they really held their own for an hour of that game before Leeds Mete went away with it in the closing quarter. So there is some talent in this Oxford side, but so too in the Cambridge side, who've lost only 1 game in their season, and that was an unlikely defeat. Dan Garbett, the Oxford coach, once more in charge. Cambridge looking to complete this set of 6, having come up with the error last time.
Paddy Boyle again, the number 8. He's led the line from the first minute. He really is trying to lay down that marker for the Oxford side.
Cox with a deep kick. Oh, and Calverley almost went forward, but he just managed, more through luck than judgment, to turn that ball back towards his own line.
Difficult skill to catch the ball whilst you're running backwards. Luckily for Oxford on that occasion, the ball went backwards. Is it me or is he playing in tights?
That is David Barrow, the Oxford wing. He's a wing, Barry. Need I say more?
Holy moly.
Confirm your prejudices. There's Josh Venner.
You can't play in tights, Bill.
Venner playing the ball. He had a wretched time last season, injured in the first few minutes of the game, the Oxford hooker. Well, he's looking for a big one tonight. There he is in at the play of the ball, the little lad from Summit. Oh, and the error from Swanson.
There's going to be a little bit of this in the early exchanges, a few nerves for many of these players. Some of them with only limited knowledge of rugby league, only limited experience of rugby league. It's a big occasion. Just need to catch the ball when it's thrown to you. Both sides looking to complete the sets of 6, pin their opposition down in the other end of the field.
Cambridge in possession now then. Good defence. Well, one player with experience is Josh Halstead there, number 10 for Oxford. He's a former Great Britain community lion, comes from Preston and once played for Leyland Warriors near Preston, a club that's produced several good players, notably Johnny Walker is just making a name for himself at Wigan Warriors at the moment, and Josh Halstead coming from that same sort of background. In at the tackle there, Halstead was. So there is some experience out there as well. Now then the kick, and it's a tester for David Barrow, and Barrow spilled it.
He was nowhere near that ball. He didn't look confident under that. You can see he leans forward. He doesn't get his body angle right underneath that ball. And you've got to say that Cambridge, now you can see, oops, no. I didn't fancy that one with 4 of you Cambridge players chasing me down.
Lucky not to ladder them tights.
I wondered if he'd go off if he laddered them.
Unbelievable.
Cambridge have possession then, and this is a really threatening position for them. Here's McCormick now. McCormick on the pass is spilled again, so the errors mounting up, and Oxford have it back. Marcus Alexander Neal taking possession, and here is Batman. First chance we've had to see of the Dark Knight, James Batstone.
You've got to make sure that you take them chances. They come up with the kick, they force the error down in the opposition's 20, and then just a simple play at the line, they couldn't manage to take it in. But this is what it's all about, the speed of the line. Can they control Oxford's go forward?
Well, both sides guilty of making errors. I don't think we've had a completed set of 6 so far. Certainly haven't had any inkling of an opportunity for them.
And that's the biggest thing in real big games. You've got to make sure you control your nerves and don't get too nervous and come up with those mistakes.
Swanson puts the kick in, and it's not a bad one. It has Rob Cox fumbling back towards his own try line. A good chase there from David Barrow to make the tackle. And here's Max Stetchman playing in his 3rd varsity match. Stetchman. Well, Oxford's opting for some interesting hairstyles there. There's Paddy Boyle, the Oxford captain, and 1 or 2 of his teammates have similarly gone for the outrageous hairstyle, courtesy of one of their teammates, believe it or not. Matt Henshaw, the 2nd row, has been wielding the clippers.
Outrageous, Bill, I wouldn't say that. Have you seen the size of him?
Almost as outrageous as yours.
But I can't do anything about
Thin
mine.
on top and thick at the sides.
Cox with a kick downfield, and Calverley takes that one comfortably. Ben Calverley, another player looking for a big game here, because he missed last year's varsity match with a knee injury on the rugby league scholarship at Oxford, and that's a fact that's quite often overlooked, that Oxford University has a rugby league scholarship, and Ben Calverley is one of the players who've benefited from that. Halstead, good work from him.
The game looks to have settled down now to a decent pattern before I curse the Oxford team. Both sets of players knocking a couple of sets out. Oxford look the more confident with the ball in their hands. Let's see what their last tackle options are like when they get to the fifth tackle.
Swanson running it. Barrow manages to keep a hold of the ball, but he's going to get snaffled up. Now we're on the last, and Swanson directing the operations. He's a talented player. Hoist that one. Now it's an opportunity for Oxford to test the Cambridge defence. They've knocked that ball on, and Cambridge have squandered possession. I think it was George Lang who couldn't control it, and Oxford have it back.
Oxford in a good position here, a chance to attack. Neither sets of players are confident under the high ball. I think that might be a ploy to be used later on.
Oh, they've kept it alive. The ball out wide to Batstone. The pass was too strong. It went backwards, says the referee. No, it was not forward, he says. And then anyway, I think Halstead is in touch, but that pass, I think, from Swanson, just a bit too strong for Batstone.
Batstone couldn't take it in, but Josh Halstead is causing all kinds of problems. You can see Batson there comes up with the mistakes, but just keep your eye out for the number 10 for this Oxford side. He's really destructive every time he gets the ball in his hand, and obviously in defence he's just flying out looking to really damage the opposition.
Well, early days here, and both sides showing signs of nerves. I wonder what it looks like down on the sidelines where Brian Carney is seated.
Just something to pick up on there. If you watch on the last tackle, Cambridge are sitting their half-back about 10-15 metres back from the play ball, Rupert Wingate's goal. What that means is it's unlikely he's going to get charged down or pressure put on him for the kick. However, he'll have to sacrifice yards. That means you see the kick landing on about the 30, when if he was to play a little bit flatter, he might be causing a little more trouble with his kicks.
And the first penalty of the game goes the way of Cambridge University. Shearman struggling to get to his feet.
Oxford just trying to buy a few extra seconds so the defensive line can retreat and get back with the referee.
Charlie Linton, I think, was the culprit. I beg your pardon, Tom Barker was the culprit. Another one of the hairstyles,
that
courtesy
one is
of Matt Henshaw.
That is dandy. I wonder if he's charged them.
Hair sculpting, I think they call it. Well, it's Cambridge in possession now. We're going down the short side.
I wonder whether he's used a knife and fork.
George Lang plays the ball, and it's with Ben Miller. Good defence from Oxford that time, led by Paddy Boyle. Charlie Sorensen came driving onto that ball. When I asked John Evans when he said Sorensen was number 13, I said, any relation? He said, I wish. On the 20-metre line. Cambridge with Rupert Wingate's, I beg your pardon, Cox playing the ball. Crossfield kick from Greg Cushing puts Batstone under pressure. He's lost it.
I've already mentioned it. It's Batstone, one of the more experienced players. He's got his hands around his waist, which means if he does fumble it, it's that little bit closer to the ground. Nobody looks sure under the high ball. I'm expecting both teams to use that. Brian has quite rightly said that both teams sitting a little bit further back, choosing to get some height on that ball.
Referee Tim Roby just wanting the scrum to set again. And Cambridge with head and feed at the scrum, and their opportunity to examine Oxford's defence, which is pretty good on that occasion, as Alex Spain is driven back by the dark blues. Now here's Cox, the fullback, right in front of those Oxford posts. Quick scoot from the hooker, and he's over. George Sykes, the captain, gets the first try of the game, and the Oxford defence just melted away there. And Sykes just had to pick his spot. It was going to come in the end because they were nowhere to be seen at that point. And Cambridge get the first try of the game in his second varsity match. The captain gets the try.
And it's all come from a high kick. Cambridge put the ball high up in the air and challenged for it, and Batstone can't regather. Just a bit of quick thinking here, nice footwork. Lovely little step, sees the line, and he has a bit of work to do. A big get out of my way with his right hand, frees him up. Cambridge get the first points.
George Cushing then with the, Greg Cushing it should be, with the conversion attempt. And he's successful with. And Cambridge are ahead by 6 points to 0.
You've got to give a big pat on the back to Rob Cox there. He took the play in before that try was scored. He attracted the defenders, and it was just a simple play by George Sykes. He got out, he steps off his right-hand side, and there's the honesty in the Oxford defence just wasn't there, pushing from that inside. Good footwork.
So Cambridge looking for back-to-back wins in this fixture. Draw first blood here, and a scrappy start to this one. Here's Max Stetchman. It's Colchester Grammar School pupil, Stetchman. Oxford with Marcus Alexander-Neil leading the defence, and Shearman just bumps him aside that time.
And again, that's a real big surge, a real big lift for the players around him. Who's going to come on the back of this?
And Cambridge with their tails up now. That's the fifth tackle. Expect another ball to be hoisted, and Batston dropping back. Who's going to be the target this time? Well, it's over the top this time, and that's probably going to go all the way. No, it bounces wickedly. Calverley comes back, but Calverley with work to do. He won't get out of jail there. It's a good chase as well. Back slaps all round from the light blues.
A little bit of deja vu from Batstone here. He doesn't want to catch that ball on the full. Leaves it to his fullback, who has 3 Cambridge defenders in front of him. Excellent work from Cambridge.
We're in position, yeah.
But again, all that field position coming on because George Lang and Sherman run really hard into that collision. Obviously, it allows the Cambridge players to kick on the front foot, just putting all kinds of pressure on this Oxford side.
One. Move! Get out, hold.
Cushing
Hold.
gets to his feet to play the ball.
2.
Now Miller.
Wait.
Paul Benner's down there.
9, you're up.
Mark Sweeney, the Irishman, legs pumping. Another one with varsity experience, Sweeney. And Oxford going wide now, and here is Cushing. Player to watch, Greg Cushing. Has a great step on him, according to his coach. Here's Rupert Wingate Saul, a former grammar school pupil from Manchester. There's James Shearman, once of Arnold School in Blackpool, so a good northwest connection there. Wingate Saul puts the kick in, and again Calverley is gobbled up. Nowhere for the Dark Blues fullback to go.
There were 4 Cambridge defenders on that occasion. Building pressure, making Oxford work hard. Look at that, that's fantastic defence, great commitment.
Stay behind.
Rupert Wingate Saul, you saw there in his 4th varsity match. So there's no shortage of experience out there of this particular fixture. And it's Cambridge who certainly are dominating at the moment. They lead by 6 points to 0. And there is the try scorer, and he's in for another one. Sykes gets his second. And again, the Oxford defence just stood back and watched in wonder. And Sykes weaved his way round the static defenders. Try number 2 for him. Try number 2 for his Cambridge side. But it's been great pressure from the Light Blues.
In rugby league we talk about building pressure, and it's making your opponents come away from an uncomfortable position. Here we see the first drop out, a nice little grubber kick on the floor, and the same player gets tackled over the line. Cambridge just tightly squeezing the life out of Oxford, and another smart run from acting half-back, and George Sykes gets his second try.
This is Greg Cushing with a conversion attempt. They call him at Cambridge the Flying Vicar because he's a theology student. He's very committed, and he's also very quick, but he's off target with that conversion attempt. But he's got 6 tries in his last 2 games as Greg Cushing. So if he gets into open space, he's dangerous. But so too is George Sykes.
Oxford really need to control the speed at which Cambridge are playing the ball. George Sykes is having a field day. He's having a little look up, he's pumping the ball, he's catching the Oxford defenders flat-footed. He will have a field day unless they start really controlling the play of the ball from this Cambridge side. They look up for it, Bill?
Well, they certainly do Cambridge, who prepared for this by going to a training camp in Norfolk for a weekend. It doesn't get more exotic than that.
Beautiful.
Oxford went to Vilamoura in Portugal earlier in the year for their training camp, and Cambridge get to go to Thetford. Very flat Norfolk, but it has obviously paid dividends for them.
We didn't used to go anywhere like that when I was at Cambridge, Bill.
Thetford.
Yep.
Yeah, but you was on a bus on a day trip from the special school.
Cambridge in possession. And on the charge again, and Sherman has burst through. He's got support, but Lang is tackled.
Sherman is having an absolute field day.
And Cambridge could have a field day here unless the Oxford defence gets their act together. Hand in there, and that's a relief for the Dark Blues, because tangle there, but in actual fact referee Roby has penalised Oxford for holding back there. Somebody held off the ball, so Cambridge get the penalty. And just see what they can do from here, because they've taken a quick tap, and it's with Lang.
Dan Garbutt needs to get the message out to Oxford. They're very wide at A and B defender. That's why you continually see those gaps just behind the back of the ruck.
Sherman plays the ball just short of the try line. Just for a moment I thought Sykes was going to fancy another there, but Garrity is over the try line. I think he's held up. He's got the try. And just on the field, the American John Garrity gets the try, and he just forced his way over the line there, and don't think John Evans can believe that. And Ben Calverley and the Oxford side are absolutely stunned behind the posts. And the guy from Massachusetts, just on the field, gets the try, but it was this guy that did the damage.
Look at the footwork. I've already seen Josh Venner, the number 9 for Oxford, really struggling. He's got tape around his head. There's another error. The referee penalised Oxford and gave Cambridge some field position. A nice tight line again, brute force, and the American just gets that ball down. Just brute strength, brute one.
And this time, Cushing is on target with the conversion, and Cambridge already on target for another win. 16 points to 0 here.
Well, Bill, you only give penalties away when you put yourselves under pressure. And Garrity is just too big and too strong. Just gets that arm out again for the try. This Oxford side have got to build something. They've got to get together as a group of players, because they just cannot let Cambridge down this end of the park, because they'll come away with the tries like that.
And it's Josh Venner, the number 9 again. He got up very gingerly from that last tackle. As I say, he's got tape around his ears. He seems to be really struggling in the middle.
In fact, I think Venner has left the field. And he did get injured against Leeds Met last week in that British University Shield competition. So whether it's got something to do with that, got a nasty gash to the forehead, might have something to do with that, but whatever it is, Oxford just cannot stand the heat at the moment. Here is Garrity, and just look at his footwear, John Garrity there. You'll notice, if you just had a look at that, he's got American football boots on, Garrity. Well, Cambridge are rampant at the moment. They've got that ball away. They could be in for another try here. They are. Oh, he's lost the ball on the line. Stetchman diving for glory, the winger. He's lost it, and he's furious with himself.
Sykes will be the more furious. Stetchman gets the ball. He thinks he's got... Oh, what are you doing? They need Batston to come up with a big play for them. They've got to get to the kick now, and they've got to try and put Cambridge under pressure in their own 20. There you go, there you go. I'm going to diagonal. Oh.
Get your foot on it, mate.
Oxford have hardly seen the ball lately, and this is Marcus Alexander-Neal who plays it. He's a one-time London Broncos player, well, a junior in fact. Now then, here's Paddy Boyle, the captain, looking to galvanise his side. On the last, now it needs to be a good kick from Swanson. Will he hoist that one? Cox is underneath it. Well, he's not, and he's let that one bounce, and Stetchman has it, but Stetchman gets away from the first of the defenders, then Boyle gobbles him up with the tackle.
A little better chase, you know, they could have really gobbled that loose ball up. As I say, we've already seen a couple of mistakes from the high kicks. Unsure. Oh, I don't want it, and there was just two kick chase defenders there for Oxford. A couple more on a solid line. They may well have picked something up there. I'm just noticing those boots, Bill, you're right.
Yeah, gridiron boots those are. Garrity played gridiron at college. He was at MIT in Massachusetts prior to coming to Cambridge.
They look like hobnail boots. Steel toe caps.
They're pretty effective anyway. Got him over the try line. The kick from deep. Calverley comes for it. Well, he's safe underneath that ball. Barrow waiting, but a painfully slow play the ball there. And time for Sherman to set himself and make the tackle. Sykes in there. Oh, and they've lost that ball. Error after error from this Oxford side at the moment. Charlie Thompson, the culprit there.
And Charlie needs some support. He needs someone pushing up with him, taking the flies off him. He's running into 2-3 Cambridge defenders. It's easy, meet that. You've just got to make sure of that honesty, that you push up and help your teammate who's carrying that ball forward.
Oxford at the minute are in free fall. They can't control the ruck. They can't get tight enough in the middle. And when they get the ball, they're too tired to make anything from it.
Sherman just waits his time to make the pass. O'Connor trying to get to the ball to snaffle it up, but he can't. And Cambridge will get head and feed. Well, Paul O'Connor is out there for Oxford, and he'll be trying his darndest to galvanise things. That's him scrapping for the ball there on the floor. Couldn't quite keep a hold of it, but he's a real feisty character.
It's a harsh call to say that he deliberately knocked that ball down. I think he was very much looking at the tackle. Cambridge ball anyway.
Alex Spain plays the ball. Here goes Rob Cox from full-back for the Light Blues. Garrity looking for a second try. Big, strong athlete. An athlete, in fact, of track and field nature as well. John Garrity throws something, either a hammer or a discus or something. But anyway, here's the flying vicar now. Greg Cushing.
2 feet. Wait.
Cushing plays the ball. Rupert Wingate-Saul back on the inside for Charlie Sorensen. That's the 5th tackle. This time Oxford's defence is a little bit tighter, but can it stay tight for this set of 6? Can they withstand this one? Little grubber kick comes through. Sherman is chasing. Calverley has got there. The ball is loose. And a knock on, I think, by Cambridge, and it'll be a restart on the 20, so that's a relief for the Dark Blues.
Big James Sherman it was who's going for that try, putting Ben Calverley under a lot of pressure. Oh, got to restart the ball in the middle. James Baxton a bit too confident there. Tried to get a quick restart.
So Paul O'Connor moves a couple of metres to his left and then restarts.
I'm not sure about that pass.
Might want to use that, O'Connor. Paddy Boyle's worked himself to a standstill in defence. He's up near 20 tackles already.
They went for O'Connor there. Well, Oxford coming from deep again. No chance for Swanson so far to shine. The guy that I think's been shining as far as you're concerned, Brian Carney, is in light blue.
Yeah, absolutely. Be very impressed with James Sherman so far. Doesn't look out of place on this. And probably somebody that Super League club might have a look at, our Championship club. If not James Sherman, what about Alex Spain? He wouldn't cost a lot.
Now then, Oxford with a potential here if they can get the ball wide to Batstone, but Barker is tackled. That's the 5th tackle. Now then, what will Swanson come up with here? Hoist the ball across the field. It's a good kick. It's hanging. Cox is underneath it, and he did well to take that one.
That's a better last tackle option, though.
Stetchman it was, in fact, who took that ball.
Very difficult, as we've already seen.
Hold, go.
Just catches it, but he's under pressure from two Oxford players. Can they contain them within their own 30-metre line?
Coming up to the half-hour mark, and Cambridge ahead by 16 points to 0, and Oxford desperately need something to go right for them at this end of the field. It's all gone wrong for them up at the other end, at their end of the field. Good deep kick, turns Calverley.
All they've got to do, Bill, they've just got to get back into the game. They don't have to score in this first half. They've just got to build the pressure, just get some energy back into those legs. They need people like Batstone here having a real big effort. Good shot, though.
As Dan Garbett knows what's needed. And they're looking to get the ball wide. They do so, but they run into some good defence from the light blues. And Tom Barker is stopped.
And the man they were looking for was James Batstone, who'd come in field to try and relieve the pressure for his Oxford forwards.
O'Connor serves the ball up. Well, Batstone is close to the ruck again there, and looking to get him involved. O'Connor, Swanson's kick downfield. And they're chasing it. They've knocked the ball on of the light blues, and it was good work from Swanson, forcing the error there from Rob Cox.
Now
Cox is disputing that.
Now they're starting to build themselves into the game, Oxford. He puts the ball along the floor. He knows it's difficult. Puts pressure on the fullback, and I think it did bobble.
The second attempt it did, just where he went for it there.
He's claiming that it went backwards, but on deaf ears. Referees very rarely change their mind.
2 hands, mate. Come back here.
They're in good position now, Oxford. It's the first time, with a bit of energy in the tank, it's the first time they've had a chance to set themselves.
Listen, you can make a tunnel, but
The referee's not happy with the feed.
right, heads in, come on, heads in. So,
That's exactly
Swanson.
the same as the last two before.
Working a bit of a midfield move there, the Dark Blues, but Marcus Alexander-Neil didn't make much progress. He's another scholarship player here at Oxford. The ball, the short pass, does though put Greg Coates through, and Coates still going.
2 feet. Wait.
Just 2 tackles gone in this set of 6, so this is a great opportunity. Back on the inside for Calverley, but for the first time in some time, Cambridge defending their line strongly. And here is Swanson now. Swanson looking to make the step, but Rupert Wingate-Saul very quickly up on his opposite number to stop his progress. They're alert to the challenge that he poses. O'Connor goes on his own. He's got Batstone on his shoulder and still going Paul O'Connor.
Move. Stay on, hold, go.
Calverley. Here is Swanson, long pass out wide, looking to David Burrow, but into touch, but worth a try from Ross Swanson.
Well, maybe it was a short little passing game. Instead of going for that big play, cutting out 4 of his players, looking to pick up David Barrow, who stood there on the wing. And this is what it comes down to, building this bit of pressure.
Well, Cambridge have handled it okay so far.
You want to build pressure, Tez, but you want to hand the ball over on your terms. I'm not sure Swanson throwing that ball 25 metres into touch. The double blue is represented Rugby Union just across the road at Twickenham, in front of 20-odd thousand.
But look at that. See?
Penalty conceded by the Dark Blues. A ball steal, says referee Roby.
Bit of desperation there. Just watch the hands. There you go.
And this is coming about because they're not controlling the play ball. The amount of tackles that this Oxford side done, it's 109 now to Cambridge's 62. The big defensive effort takes that energy out of you when you've got to wrestle the opposition to the floor. That's what John Evans, the man in your picture, will not be happy with.
Garrity driven back that time. That's better defence. Johnny Hawkins in there. Big, strong player coming off the bench for the Dark Blues. Hawkins. Sweeney plays the ball. Sykes now. Here's Rupert Wingate-Saul, shifts the ball on to Greg Cushing. They get it out wide to the centres. 4 tackles gone. Here's Rupert Wingate-Saul back inside to Ben Miller. That's the 5th tackle, and expect this one to hit the heights again from Rupert Wingate-Sall. Or will they run it? Or will he just put a little grubber kick in, and Dave Burrow this time will gather that one up on his own try line. Kept his nerve there.
Good play again though by Wingate-Sall. He's playing with real depth, he's getting the ball, he's taking it to the line, he's enticing the Oxford defence to push up and put pressure on him. But this was good play. Good pick-up from the Oxford winger, David Barrow.
Rupert Wingate-Sall, once of Manchester Grammar School, and cites Rob Burrow as one of his rugby league inspirations. A little man who packs a big punch. Now then, Swanson kicks from deep, looking for a 40-20, but it hasn't got the bounce, but he's chasing that kick. He's leading the chase and makes the tackle as well. That is good work from the Oxford University number 7.
That's what you want. You want someone to be enthusiastic. Baxton!
Oh, that's enthusiastic. A gasp from the crowd as Baxton went for the collar. Yeah, he did collar his man, and his man wasn't very impressed by that. And again, Angus Sanders. There's a little bit of spite coming into it now from Oxford.
And you feed off each other when one of your teammates does something really well.
There you go, there it is.
And that's what you get. That's how you're rewarded.
That's them extra little efforts that you put in, but you will get rewarded.
There's big Johnny Hawkins now.
Just line speed and sheer weight of numbers meant that it's very uncomfortable for Cambridge to catch the ball.
Swanson serves that ball up for Ollie Nash.
Play on.
But it's back to 1, and they're in possession now with Greg Coates, and Coates just short of that try line, and with half-time approaching, they'll get a penalty. Offside there, just too enthusiastic, the captain, George Sykes. Desperate to try and stop Oxford's progress, but they've got an opportunity here. It's with Calverley now. Good defence in the middle from the Cambridge men. Best opportunity surely will be out wide. Swanson now. Swanson gets the pass to McCormick, and Marcus Alexander-Neil will go in for the try that the Dark Blues desperately needed just before the break. And the Rugby League scholarship student Marcus Alexander-Neil, in his first varsity match, who had trials at Harlequins but decided to pursue an academic career. He's an engineering student. Well, they had the mechanics right in that one. Eventually did Oxford.
I said that Oxford were in free fall and they needed to break that chain, and this is one of those actions. Ross Swanson kicks and chases as hard as he can. Makes it really difficult for Cambridge. From the resulting possession, a penalty means that Oxford get the chance to keep pressurising, keep squeezing again. Nice set of hands puts Marcus Alexander in the corner.
Swanson with a conversion attempt, hasn't got the legs. It was on target but just fell short. Marcus Alexander-Neil's try then puts Oxford on the board. You've got to take your hat off to Hugh McCormick, who had a hand in that, just flipping the ball on very quickly into the hands of that man, Neil.
Wingate-Sall, have a look at him, the number 7 for Cambridge. He's putting a lot of pressure on his teammates. He's running out the line, he's trying to stop the play. If you come out the line, you've got to make sure you close it down, as Dan Garbutt is really happy with that try.
Really enthusiastic about his rugby league, Marcus Alexander-Neil, and as mentioned before, he's one of the players who's taken advantage of the Oxford Rugby League scholarship. So that's going to lift the Dark Blues. But Cambridge still ahead by 16 points to 4. After that great start from them when Oxford really were, don't know whether it was nerves, lack of composure, what, but they were at 6s and 7s and hadn't really settled to the game. Swanson's pass behind Marcus Alexander-Neil, but he'll try and go on the outside, try and stay in the field of play, and he does well.
He's got to stay on the island.
He's done well there, right in front of his own bench, and it was desperately floundering trying to stay on the field. The ball's gone backwards, says the referee. Swanson has picked it up. And Swanson looking for a gap. If he sees a gap, Ross Swanson will be through it. He's got really good footwork. But I'm sure the light blues have done their homework on him. But Oxford with their tails up now. Greg Coates is tackled. Here is Hugh McCormick. McCormick kicked down the line for Batstone to chase. Cox very calmly across there. He had a posse of dark blues bearing down on him, but he positioned himself well to gather that ball.
And Oxford now starting to get back into this game because they're controlling the ball. The kicking game has come on in this last 10 minutes and they're starting to bust through the other side of the tackle. And that's where you get real confidence.
Dan Garbutt, their coach, will probably be wishing half-time wasn't approaching because they've just started to get on a bit of a roll here. They could do with making the most of this momentum. But it's Cambridge back in possession now for the first time for a while. They've been on the rack a bit, conceded that try. The ball goes back rugby union style to the kicker to give him lots of room to make the kick, and Dave Barrow made that one look easy.
Some of the players really struggling with these high kicks. Not the best technique in the world. I'm not sure whether those tights are affecting his catching skills.
You've got to give him some credit. It was effective. He caught the ball.
He's got tights on, Tez. All he needs is high heels.
Here's Ollie Nash. Nash plays the ball. McCormick now, big strong standoff, and that's a good pass from him. And still time in this first half for Oxford as Tom Barker is tackled. Barker to Charlie Thompson now. Thompson, a trundling run from him, but he's driven back by the Cambridge defenders. McCormick now. Now then Swanson. Again they're running it. Calverley. Calverley will go himself over the top to Marcus Alexander-Neil. Can he get over? I think he has. The second try for Marcus Alexander-Neil. And Oxford are back in this game. Well, who'd have thought it?
The ball going from side to side. I keep thinking that Oxford are very deep. Both teams choosing to attack from depth. But it goes from right to left. Very deep. Just look how deep they are. Lovely pass. It's down near his ankles. He picks it up over the top. Steps inside and gets the ball down. Got a match on here, Bill. Does tremendously well. Ben Calverley just picks it up off his bootlaces. And Marcus Alexander-Neil gets his second try.
Well, Oxford are a side transformed, and that'll be a great relief for their coach, Dan Garbutt, there. And thanks to Marcus Alexander-Neil, but again, good build-up from the Dark Blues, and the last kick of the game from Ross Swanson. Now then, can he get this one on target? He has. Has it got the legs? Again, just short of the target from Ross Swanson. And the final action of this first half